Shalom and good day all, this is Tehillim29 back again for another DC comic review, and this time I'm covering the early May issues of Batman issue 108 and Superman issue 31. Batman being done by Tinian, Superman being done by Philip Kennedy Johnson. So, time to get started with Batman issue 108. Now, starting off with the cover, as I do enjoy rating the cover first for my reviews, does this cover in any way show or have any connection to something that is actually happening within the story? Surprisingly, it does. And I gave this cover a rating of 7.5 out of 10. So now it's time to move into the internal art, which we'll get to see the beginning, middle and end in regards to this story. I will not be covering the backstory, just the main story. Now this is some of the art around the beginning, to which we've got Mayor Nakano, Simon Saint, of course Oracle making an appearance. I'll now move towards the middle, and this is the middle of the story. As you can see there, we do have our appearance of Miracle Molly, as well as Simon Saint back again on the other page, and location. Of course, we've got Bruce Wayne, who's in a disguise. Some really nice work done with the art here, through the beginning, middle and end. Great job with the artist here. And finally some art towards the end, not at the very end, but close to the end. I really enjoyed what the artist did throughout the beginning, middle and end of the story, to which I gave this art the rating of 7.5 out of 10. Really good job here, Tinian, and I liked what you did with the characters. Now to finally move into my favourite little part. How did the story go? Now, in regards to the key things that I enjoy in my story, that being time, comic references, location, and the cast. So, what made an appearance and what didn't make an appearance? Starting off with time, we got no indication of what time that these events were taking place, though it would not hurt to include them in the story. But how did that affect the rest of the areas that I like to find out that gives me information on what's happening with the story? Did we get comic references? Actually, we did. We got a comic reference which takes us back to Infinite Frontier issue 0, which came out recently, as to some of the things that are going to occur within the comic run, but also to some of the characters too. Moving into location. What locations did we get? Well, seeing that the key main location is Gotham, the locations that we traveled to within the story were the City Hall, Midtown, and a place called Gotham 2. And the way that this sort of came across, it felt like it was preparing for like a Neo Gotham within the story. So you've got like main Gotham, and now you've got like an underground location which is called Gotham 2. And that was actually brought across by the character of Miracle Molly. And I enjoyed that information, which was also shared to us. In regards to the cast of characters, as I mentioned earlier, we had Nakano, Oracle, Simon Saint, We had Scarecrow, but that was on pretty much the first page that you really get to see him in when you open up the comic. Of course, we had Batman in his disguise, we had Miracle Molly, but we also had the beginning of the appearance of Peacekeeper 01. In this, we had the story of basically Bruce Wayne undercover, even though his cover's blown through Miracle Molly. A little bit over the topish, but did it really ruin the story that much? Not a lot, but I still enjoyed the story overall. To which I gave the story a 7.5 out of 10. Thank you very much, Tinian. I look forward to the next issue. Now it's time to move on to Superman issue 31. Now, starting off with the cover rating, did I feel that this cover helped bring across something that was happening within the story? And surprisingly, it does, especially with what happens and who's involved in the story. To which I gave the cover a rating of 7 out of 10. Now let's have a look into the internal art. Alright, this is some art at the beginning of the story, with both Superman and Superboy up against some of the evil turned Shadow Breed. To which they have to free him from a bit of mind control. Now to the middle. This is some art around the middle. And now I'll move to the end. And this is some of the art around the end. You do notice that there are a lot of dark color palettes that are being used within this particular story. To which I gave the art a rating of 7 out of 10. Now moving into the story rating. As I mentioned before, there are things that I enjoy in my stories. How was time addressed in this? Thing is, it wasn't, and it probably wouldn't go astray to have it be used in the story by Philip Kennedy Johnson. There were no comic references, which was also disappointing, and it also affected the score. The location, again, it wouldn't have hurt to have at least put up the location in regards to where Superman and Superboy were. I did have to remember by going back to the last issue. If I remember, the place of the location is called Fakrum. The cast of characters being made up of course, Superman, Superboy, and also Volder, some of the Shadow Breed members that made an appearance in the last issue. With the disappointment in regards to, say, maybe time and references, and it could have been a little bit more clearer in some of the characters as well. You did get to see one thing in the story, to which you have Superman, Clark Kent, also narrating this part of the story. And the way that this story is going, it feels like they're going to kill off Superman. We don't need another dead Superman story. We got that through Brian Michael Bendis. And revisiting it is sort of like going back to a graveyard, hoping that flowers are growing out of an actual tombstone. It ain't gonna happen. To which I gave the story a rating of 6.5 out of 10. Like I said, slightly disappointing. There were parts in the story I liked, other parts I didn't like. I'd still prefer John Samuel Kent to be de-aged, as many of us Super Sons readers have enjoyed the character. But if DC was smart enough, they would see how much gold the Super Sons is actually worth to its reader base and give us more content. Well, until then, please don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Until then, let's keep it colourful. If you've now made it to the end of this video, you are awesome and have yourself an awesome day.